welcome to the Fresh and Fired Up podcast. Here are your hosts, me, Dr. Emily, and Hailee Piendl. I was like, are you going to introduce yourself?
I don't know. You didn't give me a little pause. I was waiting for the pause because we always talk over each other. Everyone always says that, and so now I'm like super insecure about it.
Yeah, but that just tells you, it's like we operate more like siblings, and everyone always asks if we're related, so we need to continue that vibe, right? And so that's what we're doing for you guys. Yeah. You're welcome. We want to always keep it real. We are here to help you function at your best in health, in fitness, in life. And we're getting fired up.
I'm fired up because, what did you say this was? Season 4?
Season 4 of the Fresh and Fired Up podcast. And Hailee, you also asked, like, how do you track how many episodes are in a season? It's just the year. We're coming into year 4. So we have 3 years worth of podcasts for you, and they're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. YouTube doesn't have all of our episodes from the beginning, but the channel is growing, so make sure you check us out there. Like it, subscribe, send it to a friend. It helps the content grow. Yes. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you so much. I've only been here since season 3, so this is my 2nd season in the Fresh and Fired Up podcast, and I'm so hyped that you are still having me here. That was a test year, but I'm still here, everybody.
It's the best. I need someone to be able to talk over, so it works perfectly.
Exactly. We need to just mumble over each other, and then no one knows what we're actually talking about or who's talking, because they're like, oh my god, I don't know who's talking. You guys look the same and you sound the same.
That's so funny. Do we actually sound the same? We need feedback on this. Make sure you leave us a comment and let us know if you can't tell who's talking or not, because I want to know that. I've also only been told one time that we talk over each other. Have you been told on other occasions?
I think so. Maybe you told me that.
I did tell you that, so I'm like, maybe it's just really the one time and you're growing.
Oh my god, I've internalized that one thing. That's so hypocritical of me. Oh, I have to work through this. I got to journal about it.
Let it go. Write it in your journal. Plus, here's the thing. It's an extrovert trait. I know you're an ambivert, right? Like you're more of like a introvert, force yourself into an extrovert. I could
do both.
You could go either way. Yeah. Depends which phase of your cycle you're in. But extroverts definitely don't care if you talk over them. Like they're totally happy and fine with it. Please do. It makes us feel like you like us.
What?
Because if you're too like hesitant and you're too like, if you're like nervous to say something to me, I'm like, what's wrong? Why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't we talking? Why aren't you opening up to me? Versus if the person's just like comfortable to speak freely, even if they talk over you, you're like, oh, cool. You're calm and you're comfortable and you're just like being you. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. For me, it's like a stimulation thing. When people are talking all at the same time, I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, it's like too much.
Too much. And I'm trying to because I like to pay attention to people. So like if there's two people going, sometimes I'm like, I've made it a goal of mine to actually remember people's names. That's been my goal for this year, and I've actually been doing really well. That's good. That was a side note. But anyways, if people are talking at the same time, it's like, whoa, there's so much information being processed in my brain that I can't do it. So then I have to stop talking, because then that's just a third thing.
Yes, fair enough. That's kind of like what we talked about with the stimulation of listening to too many things all at once and always having
I still do that.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It's a fine line. Depends on the situation. Anyways, today we are talking about protein, but it's not like your average protein episode. This is just going to blow your mind, right, Hailee?
Absolutely blow it out of the water.
It's going to revolutionize how you hit your protein goals. Yeah. I saw this video of a guy who was like, he realized how much protein is packed into a small amount of dog food. And he's like,
oh my gosh, how much?
I don't remember what it said, but it was like something ridiculous. Like it was like a high amount of protein. He's he's staring at the dog food and he's like a fitness dude. He's like, this has me rethinking everything. Like,
I've eaten dog food.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't.
I worked at a pet store when I was like 16 to 18. And a lot of the times we were bored. And so
oh my goodness.
Actually, it was fine because it was like a pepperoni stick. And then also, it's absolutely crazy what kind of dog treats they have, but they had these like peanut butter Oreos. We looked at the ingredients and it was pretty much like a healthy Oreo. So people could eat it. So we did eat it and it was quite good.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, we were eating the dog treats, which is kind of crazy. And
Okay.
it's crazy what you do when you're bored at
Yeah.
work.
Or if you want to hit your protein goals. I'm kidding. We're not suggesting that you eat dog food to hit your protein goals. There are way better ways. Okay, here's the deal. Tell us about macros. When people say if you're already in the world of fitness, then you know macronutrients, micronutrients, all the different things and terms. But if you are not in the fitness world, like people just spew out these terms and then the person listening is like, "Oh yeah, no, I've done that." But they're like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." So it can make a person feel, it can kind of undercut them, right? Or make them feel ignorant, and we do not want to do that. So first of all, just tell us, Hailee, when we're saying macronutrients, what do we mean? And then how do we track them?
Yeah. So everyone knows what a calorie is. Everyone has heard of that. Macros are what the calories are. So you got your protein, you got your carbs, and you have your fats. Protein and carbs have 4 calories per gram, and fats have 9 calories per gram. So the macros that you eat in a day totals the calories that you eat in a day. The calories you eat in a day will determine your weight, but the macronutrient ratios will determine your body composition. So your muscle mass, your fat mass. So that's why the fitness industry is very like protein heavy and like get your protein in, protein, protein, protein.
Because they're trying to help you build muscle mass, which does have a weight to it. So if you're weighing yourself, you have to keep in mind what you said, Hailee, your body composition. So what is the percentage of fat? Your muscle weighs something, your bone weighs something, your internal organs weigh something. All of those things together would give you like the weight that you're seeing on the scale. And this
Yes.
is a huge deal. Also height, because I cannot tell you the number of women who struggle with this. They're like, whatever their weight on the scale is, they're like, oh, they feel like it's too high. And it's like, yeah, but how tall are you? Like, are you 5'9"? Are you 6 feet tall? Are you 5'1"? That's going to make a difference on a healthy body weight that has a good composition for you to be in a state of health.
Absolutely. And same goes for like the short queens out there. Like I'm 5'3" and like 140 pounds. I'm on the verge, BMI on the verge of being overweight. But like my body composition is very different than like from person to person. So don't really rely on weight. More
Yes.
so body composition and body fat percentage is a better, and progress pictures. I love progress pictures. But yeah, that was,
How do we figure out what our body fat percentage is, Hailee?
you can't be completely accurate unless you have like you're deceased and you can do a really good analysis on your
But
your
there's like
body fat
different
percentage.
ways. Yeah, because there's like the calipers that they do, or there's like
They're all very like
they're
fluctuation, and there's so
they do.
much user error in it. It's unbelievable. And like those body fat scales, like there you can go to London Drugs and get a scale that measures your
Yes.
body fat percentage.
Your
It's
water
like
weight and
got
stuff
those
like that.
electrodes and it shoots up through your feet and it miraculously knows your body fat percentage. Honestly, the best way is to visual. So there's some body fat pictures on the internet, and I think those actually do quite a good job of representing like 20%, 25%. And you can kind of have a gauge just based on how you look. So again, like the progress pictures is a better way to analyze body fat. Because like again, if you're going to do the calipers, one, that's so annoying, and two, there's so much user error. Depends on like who's doing it for you, if you're doing it on your own, where you're measuring from, and it can go very different ways. So
Huge.
pictures, best way.
Yes, I agree. So, Hailee, speaking of weight on the scale, earlier within last year, I think it was last year, within the last 2 years, so I'm 5'6". My weight on the scale, I was down to, I think, 135, which was too low for me. When you looked at my progress pictures, I looked like you could see too much bone. Like I looked pretty tiny and I had less muscle mass. And at that time, the biggest thing was I was happy because postpartum, I was like, oh, I lost all this weight. I'm getting fit again. But I wasn't actually training like I am now. I'm training way more and I'm way stronger now. And it's interesting because at the time I was so like, I had this debilitating back pain, like shooting pains down my leg, could barely walk. It just, I had so many symptoms, like a lot. And I would be prone, I am prone to acne, like it's kind of in my family. And so whenever I get too low in my body weight, my acne just goes nutso. My hair was super thin and it kept falling out. I hated that. And I was really anxious and I was not sleeping well at all. Okay. Now, that being said, I was like very happy that the scale had gone down, right? So psychologically, so like, this is good. This is good. Train harder, train more, go more intensely. And it's so interesting because now, like, as my body weight came up from 135, once I hit like 160, 165, that's when I was like, oh, wow, I'm sleeping better. I'm not anxious. I'm like, yeah, just so many things got better, right? My skin now, look, you can see it's like pretty clear. I'm not saying it's only about that. For me, it like helps my self-confidence, especially on videos and stuff. And I'm like completely broken out, which I don't think should be the case, like if your body is healthy. But this is the big kicker that I want you guys to think about with weight on the scale. Okay. So even now, and I have switched around my macros a bit and I've been playing with it and my stress levels have changed. So I would say as long as I'm weight on scale, 160 to 170, I'm fine. Like I have completely symptom free periods. I no longer have migraines before my cycle. My mood and emotional regulation is way better, like totally on point, medication free, like all of the things that you'd be like, I am a healthy female and I feel great. Right. But if I get too in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, but I've been like 135 before. How am I 170? You know, like that can go in my mind, but I'm like, oh, but I've never felt stronger. I don't have like searing, debilitating pains and chronic injuries. And it's like, guys, we got to get this in our head that it's like the composition matters so much because when you are physically a lot stronger and you have more muscle mass on you, everything's going to feel better. Muscle is the organ of longevity that makes you feel good. But you're gonna, like, for me, I'm like, my clothing size is bigger. My thighs have a lot of muscle. Like they only fit in certain sizes of pants, right? And so that's a huge deal psychologically.
Yeah, absolutely. And we get so in our brains about that too, where I really wish we shouldn't. I think societally, like we need to kind of switch the narrative there. And going from like weight only specific, because there's always a price to pay. Nothing's free out there, guys. If you want to like, and we can sprint for a certain period of time. Like you can go on a really hardcore diet and go down to 135 again. Like that's very doable for you, but there's a price that you're going to pay for that. And
Yes.
that price you might not be willing to pay, like, or at least for an extended period of time, right? So I feel like everyone who has gotten down to like, oh, their best weight, or they compare themselves to like their teenage years of some kind. They're like, oh yeah, it worked before, or I got there before.
Yeah.
But how did you feel there? Why wasn't that sustainable? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I think we can also forget and only focus on, I want to be this certain number, I guess, for whatever reasons, to scratch an itch, scratch your ego, status wise, I don't know.
And try to like impress someone else. I don't
Yeah.
know, because I think about this too, and gonna get a little bit personal here. But the other thing that happens if your body composition becomes so low and that you have like a very low fat percentage, you start to lose muscle, your energy also tanks. So even from like a relationship health standpoint, when your energy is tanking, you're not able to keep up with your daily demands. But then if you are in a romantic relationship, like I'm married, your X drive, your drive, right? It goes down.
Your wait, what? Like
Your
wait,
X,
what?
are we allowed to say it? I was like, I don't want to affect YouTube and be like, we're taking you
The
down.
intimacy.
The intimacy, your intimate time, that drive goes down. So dude, when you're healthy and strong, and you guess what, as females, you have to have some fat on your body as well. Your intimate drive goes up, also good for relationship health, right? That's a big deal.
Absolutely. And your man doesn't care if you're like 120 pounds. Like, I'm very certain he'd rather just have you be a healthy woman with a great intimacy drive.
Thank you. I was like, how do I say this? You called it something else the last time, and I can't remember what it was. It was
Spicy
like
time?
spicy time. Yeah, I couldn't think of that in the
I call
moment.
it spicy time.
Your spicy time.
Yeah,
Anyways, so yeah, so all of these things are measures of what is actually healthy, right? Compared
exactly.
to, so in order to circle back around, in order to do that, a way that we can help ourselves do that, yes, is the training. We have lots of episodes on how to train and muscle gain, and I'm sure we'll have more to come. But the other side of that is how you're distributing your macronutrients throughout the day.
Mhm.
So so Hailee, if we are preaching like you got to up your protein to up your muscle mass to help that healthy body composition, how do we put that into practice? Because would you say, in the clients you've coached, that this is a tough thing for women in particular to do, to actually hit their protein goals in a day?
Absolutely. And I think the biggest one is like they don't eat enough in general. So if you don't eat enough calories, you're not getting enough protein intake to one, build muscle, and two, just sustain a healthy body. So we got to get your calories back up, but we do want to make sure that those calories are coming from protein. And I just feel like a lot of women drive towards like low calorie. I'm going to blame Weight Watchers for this one. Um,
Yes, that is what it is. I agree. I was
the
thinking the
point
same
system
thing.
is the death of me. It just sucks so much because women are just like, oh, I'm just gonna have soup and crackers for lunch, like protein content 5 grams. Like, oh my gosh,
This is not good. Yeah.
it's brutal. It is really brutal. But they're only focused on the calories, which is so detrimental because like there's two parts to your body composition. Remember when I said calories dictate your weight? However, if you're not eating enough protein intake, the weight that you lose is going to be precious muscle mass. You really don't want to undercut your calories and specifically your protein if you're going to keep on muscle mass. Like you said, Emily, muscle is the organ of longevity. We don't want to jeopardize that at all. So rather than tracking your little point systems or calories, track your protein intake and total calories. Though that's like the very basic minimum, especially if someone comes to me and they're like, I absolutely don't want to track. I hate it. Um, Firstly, if we're not aware, it's kind of like trying to manage your money without a budget.
I hate managing. You know that. Yes,
But
I
like
agree.
if you're not
Totally
aware of where it's going, then like how are you going to expect it to change? So
agree.
tracking your food intake, just what I like to suggest, and this is what we do in our onboarding week, is just track what you're eating. Don't manipulate it just because like you're in a coaching program now. Just become aware of what's happening. If you see that your protein intake is quite low, then here are some steps that we can take to help increase that. One thing that I absolutely love is protein coffee. It's a very super easy way to get like 30 grams of protein and you get to enjoy coffee.
Do explain.
So like just having a protein shake in your coffee or your cold brew, or like mixing up a protein shake, like protein powder and milk, I guess, and using that as your creamer, so easy to get in. And then also like front loading your protein intake so you're not going to the end of the day and you're like, well, crap, I got like 40 grams left. So am I just going to eat like 700 grams of eggs and egg whites? Obviously not. So you do want to make sure that you're spacing it out as well. So when you go to build your meal, one, think about your protein source first. What are you going to have as your protein source? So let's take this soup and crackers
Scenario.
example here. That's not the best way to go about building a meal because there's no protein. So you want your soup, you can totally have your soup. Add some chicken into it, add some beef into it. Just like think of where you can add in that protein and just making sure that your meals contain like 30 to 35 grams of protein. And that's a really good base to be at. Okay. So if you really struggle with getting at least like 100 grams of protein, I'd say let that be your goal first and then work up from there, because you're not going to be like 60 grams of protein a day to 130, right? We do want to work up to getting to about 1 gram per pound. I think that's a really basic, simple way to put like get your protein intake in. But start small. So start with 100 grams if that's what it is, and then work your way up from there. But yeah, that's some simple ways to get in some protein.
Okay, I'm gonna jog your. I like that. I'm gonna jog your memory on other ways I've heard you tell people how to increase their protein. I do listen. Just want to prove myself here.
Okay, this is your active listening skills being tested here.
Active listening is you have talked about. I'm not like a huge oats girl myself, but if you are like, oh, I'm gonna have this bowl of oatmeal in the morning, you could make it savory oats. I'm quoting Hailee. You could put egg whites in there.
Egg white CM.
Egg whites, and you could add, let's say, I don't do this. Like, I'm like kind of a 3 eggs in the morning girl. I hit my protein goals every day. But I didn't turn my notifications off. Sorry, guys.
I keep hearing them.
What is my problem,
You're
guys?
so popular.
I'm pausing for a moment to click and do not disturb. Okay, there. You're welcome. So, but you said that, and then so eggs. But then if you feel like you keep going over in your fat when you're trying to hit your protein, you could add egg white. So let's say I'm having 2 eggs. I could like beef those up a bit by adding like extra egg white. I don't currently do that, but I know that that's something you can do. Or I do. People don't like this. I think I've said it before. I put raw eggs in my protein shakes.
Oh yeah, you've said that.
I'm just beefing this sucker up. That's one thing you could do, but don't. That's like off the record. Don't blame me if you're like, I got sick from a raw egg. You got to smell those suckers. Anyways, because you don't want to be eating like a rotten egg, whether it's cooked or raw. Those are disgusting.
You definitely don't.
Oh, the smell. It's so disgusting. Have you ever like accidentally put rotten egg in your mouth?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like fish. I don't even know. Let's not go down there. Yeah. Anyway, so don't do that. But then I know we've talked about cottage cheese cottage cheese and
Greek
yogurt. Yes. And what else? What else?
Yeah.
Those are the main animal meat. So like a lot of people, when you're getting them on this journey and they've been mostly like, not that we're afraid to eat carbs, but if you've been eating all carbs, like your scenario of like soup, crackers, salad, fruits only, or like lots of breads and pastas, and that is like your primary diet. Don't even get me started on kids with this. Like how many kids have hidden starvation or hidden malnutrition because it's hard to get them to eat things that actually sustain their health. But once you do, you start to literally like it's observable, the behavioral changes in kids that have the proper amount of protein. Also, just a side note. But yeah, so those are some of the ways. Yeah. Animal proteins is a big one. And when you start people on this journey of not even necessarily getting rid of carbs, like we're not going super low carb, but just making sure that we make the protein the star of our meals and build the rest of the meal around it, like you said, a lot of people's reaction are like, oh, I have to eat that much animal meat? Like, well, yeah, you do. That's how you get your protein up, right?
Exactly. Because there's so many people who are like, oh, I'm having beans. That's my protein source. No, honey, bunch, no. That's not a protein source. It's a carb source. By the way, if you guys are so confused at like what a protein source, a carb source, a fat source is, comment protein or DM us protein. I have a free resource for you. Just to have a grocery list of like, what is a protein source? What is a lean protein source? What is a protein source that has fat in it? What's a carb source? What's a fat source? So you can go around the grocery store and kind of build your meals around that. And also intuitively, you'll get an idea of like when you build your meal, what is my actual protein source? Because so many people like think peanut butter is a protein source. It's a fat source. And if you want to bulk up your meal with protein only, you want to go for the lean protein sources, which typically is animal based, which is like your egg whites. It's your no fat Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, turkey, essentially like protein with minimal fat and minimal carbs. So you're only getting calories from a protein source. That's kind of what you meant, right? By like bulking up your eggs with egg
Almost like
whites.
concentrating it, like the dog
Yeah.
food. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do the dog food. That was just a joke, guys.
You
But
can try it.
in case you're not laughing on the end, I'm clarifying that it's a joke. So the other thing, though, I do want to say, because back to the start, I don't know if it was at the very start, but at some point in this conversation, you mentioned a lot of women are just not getting enough calories in general. My thing is, if you are not eating enough calories throughout your day, I would rather you can tell me if you agree or disagree, Hailee. I would rather you be hitting your protein goals and going over in your fat and don't even worry about it if it's going to get your because it's going to get your calorie intake up. And if you're not eating a ton, if you shift the way you eat to not just consuming like a ton of refined sugars or like hyper processed garbage, then if you actually have natural fat sources, even though you're like you might be consuming more calories, it's like, well, if you were under eating and you weren't getting enough protein, that is worse than getting the right amount of protein and going over in your fat sources if they are good, healthy fat sources.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Like when you go back to the basics, total calories and total protein intake, I honestly don't care where fats and carbs land unless it's like more of an athlete and they're specifically training
Yes.
for something, then I would kind of push more carb intake, just because that is quite detrimental to performance. But if you're
Yes,
just the
that was our
average,
whole episode. Sorry to interrupt, but that was like we did another full episode with Dr. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting
yes,
Renee. I'm
McGregor.
forgetting. Thank you, McGregor. We
Yeah,
have a full episode on that. If you're training specifically for something, go check that one out because it's a gold mine for you.
absolutely. So that is more important. However, like for the average Joe, if your fats go over but you hit your protein and your total calories, that's a win. Like,
Yeah,
you
it is.
really don't have to be super meticulous. And I know there's so many, like, we see these bodybuilders and like fitness people hit their macros to like 1 gram. That's really, you really don't need to do that. it's it's not that deep. Total calories, total protein, you heard it here first, folks. You have full permission to just hit those and let the fats and carbs fall where they might.
Yeah, and it's going to fluctuate. Don't get so stuck on it. It's going to fluctuate slightly per day, but if you're hitting those as your primary, you are going to start to feel better. So, our primary goal is always helping you feel better and function better. There's kind of like a utilitarian nature to our content where we're like, we want to get you so that you are able to keep up with your life, enjoy your family, really like the quality of life goals. That's primary number one. Okay. Now, let's say you have some other goal specifically outside of that. So you do want to add in some aesthetic to your goal. Like, okay, I've got to the point where I'm feeling better. And now, you maybe are on like a fat loss journey, right? Like if you feel like, or you know that you've had too high of a body fat percentage for too long, then let's go to that end of the spectrum first. And first, we give us like an overview on the steps. Like we want to do some restoration of your metabolism and hormones and all of that before we even get to, well, I want to be able to see like the muscle cut in my arm, like something more aesthetic, right? Can you give us like a little overview on that journey?
Absolutely. So the first part of it, so if someone comes to us and they're like eating 1200 calories, obviously, if you want to have a fat loss phase, it's just science. You're going to have to be in a calorie deficit, and you can't go from a calorie deficit at 1200 calories. There's just no way, no room, and it would be very detrimental to your health to like cut anything out of that. So the first phase would be to reverse diet essentially. So slowly work your calories, your macros back up. And within that, also do some habit building. So if you are coming in and you don't know what a macro is, you don't know how to track, you don't know how to meal prep, you don't know any of this, like that's a lot to add on top of your daily life. So it's much more beneficial to just take some time in that habit building phase and nail down the basics. I like to kind of relate it back to a house. So if you're going to build a house on a cracked foundation, your house is going to fall over. You want to build that really solid concrete foundation in order to build up on that. And yes, it's going to take more time than 12 weeks. Don't let anyone sell you a 12-week program because it's not going to happen. Um, so once you take some time to build that foundation, then you can teeter into more of the, okay, now I'm going to hit my protein intake on a more consistent level. Now I'm going to hit my calories on a more consistent level. And that's where you start to see the really good like body composition changes. And you start to feel good in your skin again. Your clothes might start to fit a little bit better. But essentially like what we want to do is work your calories back up to at least maintenance. And then we go into a deficit. So once your calories are at a non, like you're not going to cry every day, then you can go into a deficit. Which
Hailee,
yeah.
question about that. How is it possible for someone to already be eating low calories, but I don't want to say overweight, but because we weren't focusing on scale weight, but how can they have too high of a body fat percentage while they're actually not eating enough calories? Like, how is that even possible?
One, you're lying. Like they're not actually eating 1,200 calories.
Or they're
And
just not, they
two,
just don't know.
they don't know, or you're very likely in a binge and restrict cycle. So you'll maybe eat 1,200 calories on the weekdays, and then on the weekends, all you know, it all breaks loose, and you go out and you have like
A ton.
5,000 calories every day, and that just completely washes everything that you've done. And then also, if you're like not sedentary, you're not building, you don't have muscle mass. So muscle is more calorically demanding than fat mass. So it just needs more calories to maintain. Just like
So you're not getting enough activity during your day. That's what you mean. If you are
exactly.
sedentary and not
Yeah.
active. Yeah.
Yes. So it's the same balance of calories in, calories out. Like that's just on a very basic level, but there's just more steps in the calories out and the calories in than I think people realize.
Yeah. And there's also the what is your daily habits? Like if you're
Mhm.
skipping breakfast and you're just surviving on coffee in the morning and then you have no appetite, so you don't eat most of the day. And then you hit the evening and you just go crazy on snacking, and those snacks don't give you the proper nutrients that your body needs. That's going to affect your metabolism a lot as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Most of these foods, too, that people overeat on are high in carbs and fats. And that's just easier to store. Your body just stores it as fat. It's easier for it than if you were to hit your protein goals. Protein is harder to store as fat. So if you're just waiting all day and fasting all day and then overeating on the carbs and the fats, it's not great metabolically. And it's also not great in terms of body composition.
Ooh, you know what I just thought of too? What about alcohol?
Alcohol is not great either.
No, I'm just saying it because that can contribute to your overall calories. I just thought of it because we
Oh
didn't even,
yeah, yeah.
right?
That and
Alcohol, like
sleep
if you,
and yeah, muscle
yes,
mass and yeah.
just something that you also might not be thinking of that could be contributing to your body composition, right?
Absolutely. I don't want anyone to be like scared of drinking. Like if you like to have one or two
Yes,
drinks
yes,
a week, like that's totally okay. You don't have to be like, "Oh, I'm going sober now." If you like to have a glass of wine at dinner,
yes,
totally okay. As long as it's not you're one accounting for it, and two,
yes.
it's not the like you're not binge drinking, like it's not
That's
one
what I
of
meant.
those. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because no, because I think it does happen, and then that affects their composition goals.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think there's more things that need working out if you're binge drinking every weekend.
Yeah, yeah, that can contribute to like what is
Mm,
your where's your mental state at as far
mm,
as your mental health? Are you using it as a coping mechanism, numbing, all of that kind of stuff? So we
Yeah.
don't need to get into that today. I'm just thinking about trying to open up your mind to see that like there's so many different things that could be affecting maybe why you're not reaching the goals you think you want to be reaching. And
Yeah.
how looking at that's our job as trainers and coaches to look at like the whole picture and go, okay, what is affecting this? How can we help you through it? How can we do it in a way that is sustainable and that is healthy and that is enjoyable for you, but still going to get you to a point where you are healthy?
Absolutely.
'Cause you
Cause
can
and
get
effect. And I think too, like, we really have to have a realistic expectation for ourselves too, because some people can have this like number or this look in their brain, and that's not actually healthy for their specific body. Like you mentioned, you have a fluctuating weight where you feel really good in, and that's typical for a lot of people. Like you have a weight that you kind of fluctuate between
range.
depending on the season of life. Like maybe you're a little bit stressed, you either undereat when you're stressed, you might lose a couple pounds or gain a couple pounds, but essentially you're kind of just bobbing in between 160, 170.
Yeah.
I think people really underestimate what their ideal weight is. And so kind of having that outside your mind, like just get that out of your brain and have more of an open-minded view of like, okay, I'm okay if my weight settles at a slightly higher level than what I expected it to be, if you're functioning well, if you do heal your mindset towards your body. I think a lot of people can have some body hate and self hate where a lot of this, the drive comes from. So healing your mindset towards how you view yourself and self image. And really, it just comes down to like your progress. If you're making progress, you're going to feel really confident. You're going to feel really good. And that's all you want. You just want to feel good in your skin. It's not a weight, it's not a body composition. It's just you having that integrity, feeling good, and feeling confidence. But confidence does not stem, it just, you don't just wake up with it. You have this undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. So if you like wake up, you have your coffee, you don't eat all day, and then you binge at night, obviously, you know that you're not living in alignment with your fullest potential, right? So we want to just have you live in alignment with your fullest potential, become the best woman, the best version of yourself that you can be. And you accomplish that through like your daily habits, and how you carry yourself, your mindset, and things like that.
Yeah, so well said. One other thing that popped into my brain when you were talking about like weight fluctuation or having a healthy range and becoming comfortable with that, guys, time of day matters too.
Mhm.
Like I've had times where I'm like, I step on the scale in the morning, I'm like, okay, solid 168. And if I step on the scale in the evening, I'm like, oh, I just went up to 173 or something. Like you can have like a 5 pound fluctuation in a day. And it's like, don't underestimate the poop.
Absolutely. I also want to touch on
Before
menstrual
and after.
cycles too,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I have a lot of clients who get really down on themselves. And I also do this as well. I don't know why. It's just like every month is the same thing. I know exactly what's happening, and you still kind of get a little bit like, ah, oh, damn it. But it's very normal to gain like 4 or 5 pounds. I've gained up to 8 pounds pre-period, and it's water, it's your uterus swelling, it's like the buildup of your uterine lining. Like it's not because you're not following your protocols, because you can follow your protocols to a T and your body is still going to hold on to that water weight. So it's
Yes.
not lack of trying, and it's not anything wrong with the process or the programming. It's just the phase of cycle. So just beware, late luteal and into your early menstrual phase, you are going to hold on to some weight, and that's okay.
Yes. And there can be that feeling of like feeling like bloating. That's going to go with that hormonal fluctuation. I'm so glad you brought that up. The other thing that you have brought up multiple times is even just like that feeling of bloating, yes, with the hormones, but then even after meals, some people can get down on themselves. And this can feed into, we talked about if you're in a fat loss phase, but if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you've had a lot of food fears, and you are chronically underweight for your health or under your body fat percentage is very low, that you can eat and then you feel bloated and then you see that stomach bloat, and it reinforces the fear of like, see, I'm eating this food and it's making me fat, and it's like that body dysmorphic response. One thing that can be really helpful is to like chew your food slower, slow down, give yourself that time to digest. And instead of going into this like high stress state about like, see, food and I just don't work well together. It's like you need that nourishment to not, be under, so that you're able to actually feel good. But slowing down, that's going to help with your digestion, which is going to help with that feeling of bloat. Also, making sure you're getting your water intake and your electrolytes to make sure you're getting proper bowel movements. That's a huge deal too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And like when you do undereat, then your bowel movements sort of cease to exist.
They slow down too, like
They
your
do.
whole motility of your bowel, the peristalsis slows down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every kind of process slows down, and that's why you
Yes.
see like people not having a cycle because it's just shut down. And then like you'll have brain fog because there's no calories going to your brain, your digestion, muscle building, your bone health. Like it's got your body is going to get nutrients from somewhere. If you're not feeding it, it's going to take it from your body within, and you
Mhm.
really don't want that. Um, I don't know where I was going with that, but
No, but it's a good point because we were speaking to, the fluctuation that you're feeling in
yeah.
maybe your body size, your look, your feel, your weight on the scale, and it's going to fluctuate. Basically, just the
Mhm.
list of it's going to fluctuate throughout your hormonal cycle, throughout the day, depending on if you've had a bowel movement or not, how much you're eating, and how quickly or slowly you're eating. All of those things affect whether you feel bloated or you put you do your pants up and you're like, ugh, see, I'm not making any progress. Like that's what our brains can do. And it's like, that's not actually true.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And like I think too, volume eating is a really big thing where I mean I see this on the different side of the spectrum, not so fat loss, but more so like muscle gain and like period
okay.
recovery, hormone restoration. People are they love their protein and they also love volume eating, the veggies, all the fiber, and then they're bloated even more.
Oh yeah.
So they more so fear the fat, but in reality, like fat's one, more calorically dense. So it's actually great for this situation. And two, it's not going to take up as much stomach room. So you're not going to be like extended bloating because you need, again, energy in, energy out. If you want to gain muscle, you're going to have to be in a slight caloric surplus, right? So if you're eating all of your macros and your calories from like these high volume foods, there's going to be a point where you can't do that anymore or you're going to be a walking bloat balloon.
Yeah. Like
There's just
honestly, like a huge salad with a bunch of raw veggies is
yeah.
going to bloat you more than if you have like a smaller amount of cooked veggies.
And like a steak and some avocado, olive oil, like that's just a smaller meal, more nutrient dense, calorically dense, and it's what your goals are at that time. And again, like if it's fat loss, maybe leaning into some volume foods is a really good idea. And if you're is muscle gain and you have a struggle with like bloating and digestion and period stuff, like then on the other end of the spectrum would be to lean into the fattier meats, the more fats, the lower volume foods with more calories and nutrients in them. So it's very specific. And that's where I think like social media can get really confusing too, is like you apply this one, okay, healthy is volume eating. And so everyone thinks that that's what they should do, where it's like so goal specific.
Yeah. And where you're at in your journey and what
Yeah.
you're doing for your physical activity. That's
Yes,
huge. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so good. And I mean, even when we talked about changes in seasons of life, like sometimes it's a matter of, I know for me, I was doing a lot of lifting and a lot of outdoor activity, walking, hiking, etc. My body was starting to change and feel differently. And I realized, well, I'm still doing all my lifting. I'm still doing but then I realized, oh, wow, my outdoor activity and my daily walks had just ceased to exist in a busy season of life. And so I'm just using that as another example of thinking about you're going to have fluctuations in your activity level, which is then going to affect also, you're going to want to shift how you're eating with that, right?
Mhm.
So lots of components. We are here to help. So after this episode, if there's anything you feel like we missed, like we touched on something and you're like, can you dig into that more? Please reach out to us. You can send us DMs on our social media, leave comments on the YouTube channel. Just make sure that you get the help you need because that's what we're here for. And share this episode with a friend. Right, Hailee?
Absolutely. All your friends.
All
Group chat. Send it to the group chat.
Please do. And in the meantime, be free, feel fresh, and live on